If you're a woman in Islam, having rules imposed on you is something that you become very familiar with in your regular everyday life. There are rules regarding how to dress, how to talk, and even whether or not you're allowed to see your family or travel without a mahram or a male guardian. The rules are endless, daunting, and nonsensical to modern day times. Would you be surprised if I said that even in death, there are various rulings regarding the permissibility or impermissibility of attending burials for women? In this video, I'm going to discuss the Islamic burial process specifically regarding women and how it affects them. The rulings in Islam are not only strange, but they are outdated rules that cause more harm than good. Paulina is a popular convert that posts frequently about the loss of her husband. In this clip I'm going to show you, she talks about the reality of the Ummah today and how widows are treated in Islam. Let's get into it.
Not all of us are fortunate enough to have a wali, and that's a fact. And telling me, just go to mosque, someone will become your wali, is honestly insane. The sad truth is, I don't go mosques. I have the biggest trauma you can possibly imagine with mosques and with imams. Imams don't care, and that's a fact.
Did you hear what she said? She describes going to the mosque as the biggest trauma you could possibly imagine with mosques and imams. Why do you think that is? In a community that claims to support women, to honor them and treat them as equals, isn't one of the major so-called benefits of following organized religion is that it helps you deal with major life events like death? Yet Paulina is saying that she's so traumatized by how her husband's death was done that she can't even go to the mosque anymore. Let's keep listening.
I literally had to fight to be able to attend my own husband's funeral, and they tried to excuse themselves with COVID. Strangers were allowed on my husband's funeral because they happened to be men, and I had to fight to be able to say goodbye to my own husband. No one cared about me or my feelings or my wishes. No one cared about my non-Muslim family wanting to say goodbye to my husband. Imams don't care, and that's a fact. So don't tell me, just go to mosque and someone will become your wali, not because they don't care. FYI, I did contact few mosques. I did ask them, and they said, with your height, with a child, good luck with that. You don't even have British passport. So no, don't tell me just go to mosque and they'll help you, because they don't care.
She had to fight to attend her own husband's funeral. My wife told me a similar story about the loss of her former husband. The reason Paulina was told to not attend her husband's funeral is because of the convoluted opinions in Islam, and particular of the four madhabs. Some Muslim scholars believe that a woman's presence at the burial creates fitna because of men being there. Others will cite reasons such as women being too emotional. When I found out as a new Muslim back in the day that Islam doesn't allow women at the burial, I was dumbfounded. I couldn't believe that such a rule existed. There's no realistic good reason to deny women the experience of closure received by attending a burial. The Hanafi Islam QA website says, is it permissible for women to attend the burial at the cemetery? Would it be allowed for them to visit the grave after the burial is completed? Answer, it is permitted for women to visit the female family members of the deceased to convey their condolences and sympathy, provided the rules of hijab, the laws of hijab are observed and there's no unnecessary intermingling of genders. The females may attend the janaza prayer if there is proper arrangement for the women, such as a secluded area behind the last line of the men. Women should not attend the burial at the cemetery due to the unavoidable fitna, intermingling with the opposite genders, especially if there's a large crowd. Sexy times at the funeral, yeah, makes sense. However, after the burial has concluded and the crowd has dispersed, women may visit the grave. So generous of you. It's generally permitted for females to visit a graveyard as long as the laws of Sharia, hijab, intermingling, no veiling, etc. are not violated. Wow. Just the best treatment of women. This is one example of how Islam has this bizarre idea that women are inherently problematic, even when they are going through the worst time of their lives. What Paulina is saying about fighting to attend her husband's funeral aligns with thinking like this. Here's another Islamic source, Muslim Matters, citing some of the same idiotic reasons why a woman should not attend the funeral of her husband. It assumes that a grieving woman will behave inappropriately with the men present. If men are the issue here, why are they allowed to attend a funeral but the wife or women are not? In its section on this issue, it notes that the Hanafis prohibitively discourage women's attendance of the funeral procession. The Shafis mildly discourage it. The Malikis permit it where there is no fear of fitna. And the Hanbalis mildly discourage it. Is the death of one's family member a mild issue in the grand scheme of things? If women are valued in this religion at all, why is there any room for misunderstanding or blurring of what is haram, halal, and makruh? Why is it so unclear whether women are allowed to come? In fact, it's all leaning towards no. I discussed in my previous video that saying goodbye to a loved one is a form of psychological closure for the surviving family members or spouse. The fact that any gray area would exist in a matter like this is yet another proof that Islam is man-made. Nothing at all in Islam is clear-cut. Is this what we'd expect from God? This mishmash, confusing, contradictory rulings about whether, on the most important matters, whether women are even allowed to visit or go to the burial? Like, it's crazy. So Paulina said that strangers were allowed at her husband's funeral because they happened to be men, and she, the one that actually had the most, need for this funeral, had to fight to be able to say goodbye to her own husband. My wife told me about this as well. She said that at her husband's janazah, the grave was completely surrounded by men, and she was encouraged to not attend the burial at all. When she arrived anyway, because she needed to go, she could see the body of her husband being carried to the grave from a distance. She tried to get to the front to be near him as they recited dua, and when she tapped a man on the shoulder to move, he just looked at her and turned back around. The closest she was able to get was when everyone left and she watched a dump truck pour dirt on his body. Imagine how this felt, not even being able to say goodbye properly. To make it even worse, even before the funeral was over, a Muslim man talked to the Imam about marrying my now wife. Are women in distress truly an issue? Or should we be concerned about opportunists looking to prey on vulnerable widows? Husband was barely in the ground and already this man was chasing her. If anything, women should be given first priority in a situation like this. My wife strongly relates to what Paulina is sharing about her experiences at the funeral. She felt so alone in this experience, trying to not only process what happened to her, but not being able to talk to anyone in the community that could relate to her. She said that Muslims would often become dismissive when she tried to express how traumatizing her experience was, telling her to read more Quran, have patience, and make dua, as if that was going to help her. I'm going to show you some of the responses here. You can see that this is the sort of reaction that people give when you try to criticize Islam, even if you're doing it sincerely. Not even criticize, not even trying to criticize Islam. She's basically sharing what happened to her. You're pushing a ridiculous narrative based on one imam in a mosque who didn't want you to attend your husband's funeral for a good reason, based on their interpretation of the Sunnah. There's a reason why women are discouraged from attending funerals. What a wise religion. If you had a problem with this, you should research and give alternatives to your local mosque. What is she gonna make her own mosque of women are allowed? This is a problem, right? This is it's like these people. Anyways, this is what I was saying. In conclusion, the Islamic rulings regarding women and funerals highlight yet another instance where women are marginalized and their emotional needs overlooked. The restrictions placed on widows, such as preventing them from attending their husband's burial or participating fully in the grieving process, demonstrate a clear bias rooted in outdated interpretations of modesty and fitna. These rules not only strip women of their right to mourn, but also expose the hypocrisy of a system that claims to honor and protect women while consistently undermining their autonomy and emotional well-being. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please consider supporting me. Join the Patreon. We would most appreciate your support. This is your friendly ex-Muslim Abdullah Samir signing out.